So it's Saturday morning, on my way to the paper Pauper tournament. Didn't get as much practice as I wanted to, but oh well, it's whatever. If I scrub out, I scrub out. What's really cool about this tournament is that its prize payout is actually pretty sweet. It's like usual store credit and whatever, but in addition they're also giving out like play sets of From the Vault, Chainer's Edict, Japanese Fire Blast, some Pyro Blasts, Lightning Bolts, stuff like that, like play sets of them, and they're giving it out to players. So I'm guessing like first place is going to get the Chainer's Edicts or whatever. That'd be pretty sweet to get. Traffic is such garbage in downtown Portland that you know, instead of dealing with it, I just decided to take the Max. I haven't been on one of these in a long time. This is part of Portland's TriMet system, and they got a really cool train here, and it's really nice being able to get downtown without having to actually worry about traffic and shit. It's pretty sweet. So tournament just ended. Only 6 people showed up for the event. Sad day. I guess their Monday Pauper events fire with much more people. But so 6 people, 3 rounds. I ended up going 1-1-1. Round 1 was against Standard Affinity. Got completely blown out. Game 1, I wasn't drawing my lands. Game 2, drew all my lands. You know, that whole variance bullshit. Round 2 was against Blue-White Tron, and I don't recall playing against many blue-white Tron decks on Moto. It was this pretty sweet brew. My opponent, I won game 1. Game 2, he brought in Curse of the Bloody Tome to mill me out, and Ristic something. It's a white enchantment with Ristic in its name, and what essentially is like the next time a source would deal damage to you, you pay 1 mana to prevent that damage. And well, he's playing Tron, so he completely blew me out of the water in game 2, and we ended game 2 as soon as the round went into time. So yeah, it ended up being a tie for that, so draw. And then round 3 played against Jeskai Affinity, and it was focused more on like Auriok Sun Chasers and like Ardent Recruits, and just like had more of like an aggro thing going on instead of focusing on like ATOGs or whatever. It was pretty sweet. I ended up winning against him, got the hand lock on him. That always feels really good. Prize support was actually pretty unique. You know, there was store credit as usual. I didn't end up getting store credit because I got 4th place, but the dude who was holding the event handed out like playsets of like Fire Blast and stuff. I ended up getting a playset of Jataxian Probes, which is pretty sweet. It's like $10 now, so yeah, I made my money back, so that's pretty sweet. So it's the following Friday, and I'm back here in downtown Portland playing at the same store that I was playing at beforehand, only this time the event itself actually has free entry with prize support. You know, that's pretty fucking sweet. Check out this huge ass building behind me. It's almost as big as my ego. So you guys can probably hear the raindrops on the umbrella above me. You know, it's Portland, Oregon. It's always fucking raining. Here, chilling out at the courthouse. I don't know if you can really see. Maybe if I get the umbrella out of the way without getting rainwater on my camera, but whatever. So down here in downtown Portland playing Pauper, play a lot of Pauper. That's kind of the video that I wanted to talk about today, or make, whatever. I'm making a whole bunch of mistakes. Whatever, doesn't give oh my god, can I learn to talk correctly? Good fucking lord. So the thing that I wanted to talk about today was Pauper, and how awesome it is, and how underrated it actually is, in my opinion. You know, whenever I talk to other people about Pauper and stuff, my first way to describe it is it's like playing Legacy if you have $50, and that's pretty much what the format is like, because it's pretty much the same card pool, except you don't have access to the rares, mythics, uncommons, and that sort of thing. All it is commons, and you'd be surprised how many powerful cards there are at the common level, like Delver's Secrets, or Lightning Bolt, or Counterspell, or there's just a plethora of good spells that are printed at common. Rancor of all cards. is a common. And if we're being honest here, it's probably my most played format. Well, second. My first is EDH. I'm a casual at heart scrub. That's all I'm ever gonna be. I've tried doing the whole trying to grind, and every time I did, I just burned out really hard. So you know what? Casual for life. And Pauper is the perfect format, well, besides EDH, but like if you want to play competitively but you just don't have the funds or like the time to like grind a deck or whatever, you know, pick up a Pauper deck. You can buy pretty much every good tier 1 deck in the format for less than or around $50, which is pretty sweet and pretty unheard of when compared to like any other format ever. Like most budget standard decks that do well in events cost like maybe $100, but in Pauper, get the fuck out of here with that. And not only that, but the format is incredibly wide and open. There's just so many strategies that you can play. You could play like Burn, you could play Mono Blue Delver, you could play like a Blue Black Delver, you can play Green Stompy, you could play Infect, you can play like, is it Blitz, like the Kiln Fiend combo deck, or you could play what I'm doing, and I'm playing Blue Black Handlock, and the format is just so wide and open. There's like weird, cool, fun decks like Red White Koldotha Boros, which is like one of the premier decks in the format. The deck is just chock full of insane value, and yeah, the format itself, Pauper, you'd be surprised how deep the gameplay actually goes in that format, considering that it has the entire breadth of Magic's history behind it, but just at the common level. And I think that's kind of like gimmicky in its own right, and that like may send some people away from it. It's just like, oh, I don't want to play like this stupid format where it's only commons. It sounds like Frontier, or it sounds like Tiny Leaders, but the format's been around for quite a while from what I understand it. I mean, it got its start on Magic the Gathering Online, and only recently has stores like been doing events for physical paper cards, and you know, I might as well take advantage of it while I can. And hell, I mean, if there's only one store in this entire Portland area that's willing to do it, well, they got my business, because I want to support Pauper. I want to see this format grow and expand and become popular. Ha, see what I did there? It was unintentionally funny. Don't worry, I'm not funny, guys. I try to be desperately, but spoiler alert, it doesn't work. So yeah, do what you can to like try and promote Pauper in your local area. You know, build some decks. Go to mtggoldfish.com, look up the metagame data, and like pick one of the top decks that you want to play. Or you don't even have to pick a net deck or whatever. You can just play whatever kind of Pauper deck you want to play, because the format, I mean, while there are top tier decks, it's not like those are the only things that you can play. The format, like I said before, is pretty much wide open, and that's namely because of like what's available in the format. There's nothing like super busted, and there's like no force of will to help like bust up a combo or anything. And Wizards has already banned problem cards in the format, like Invigorate, which helped knock down the Infect decks a considerable amount, and like Storm isn't even a thing anymore. I mean, like, the format has access to all the ritual effects and like Ponder and like Preordain and Brainstorm, but there's no Grape Shot, there's no Empty the Warrens, or any other decent Storm card. I know there's a few others, but I just can't remember what they are. But the ban list itself, it's like, out of all the formats in Magic, I feel like the Pauper ban list is probably the most like perfect. Like, I can't personally think of any one card in the format that's super busted that needs to be banned. I mean, there was Peregrine Drake, and the whole like time after Eternal Masters was printed, it kind of like it hindered the format a considerable amount, because I mean, you had Cloud of Fairies before then, and then Peregrine Drake essentially came out after Cloud of Fairies was banned, and they're both pretty much the same card, different mana cost, but can lead you to essentially infinite mana or just like infinite value. But aside from that, like, Pauper itself as a format just doesn't have too many problems in terms of like power level. I mean, like, yeah, I said before, there's powerful cards in the format, but it's not like a Sensei's Divining Top counterbalance type of level. It's a kind of like, it's not a turn 1, turn 2, or turn 3 format, kind of like Modern or Legacy or Vintage would be, anything like that. If anything, Pauper is incredibly similar to Standard, but it has the power level of Legacy. And I realize I'm automatically contradicting myself as I'm saying that out loud, because I've been saying back and forth like power level this, power level that, and I guess that's the word for the day or whatever. But I hope you all understand what I mean. Like, I am a big proponent for Pauper. If anything, I would just, if there was one thing that I could champion, it would be this format. I love Pauper. I think the more I play it, the more I actually kind of enjoy it than EDH, to be honest, because one of the weakest parts of EDH, in my opinion, is the politic aspect. And I realize that there's a lot of people that play EDH just for the politic aspect, but like, I just play to play casually and have fun and stuff, so I don't mind whenever I play infinite combos and stuff. But like in Pauper, it's kind of like that same casual mentality, because no one's super serious about Pauper, well, at least not yet, and it's one-on-one format, so it's just kind of, it's perfect for me personally. And I feel like there's a lot of other people out there who are just sick of paying $700 for a standard deck and like getting their Emrakul's banned or whatever, and like buying to a modern deck and have their pod or their twin banned or anything like that. So yeah, the format Pauper is definitely something that you all should look into if you're interested in any type of eternal play.